Hey guys, welcome back to another podcast here. I'm back with the doctor. We're kind of in a kind of critical stage of I guess humanity. I don't know if it's that extreme, but it might be. So we got a couple things we want to talk about, and we want to share some information that we have coming directly from a medical doctor. So that way we can kind of calm the situation down slightly if possible. Of course, it's still early stages of the coronavirus or COVID-19. We'll go into a couple details for the name of it, and the doc will kind of give you some heads up what's going on, what's not going on, and what's going on in the hospitals themselves. So I'm here with Dr. Hector L.
All right. Thanks for having me back. Glad to be here. I'm actually the one that... we had talked about doing this.
Yes.
And that was a week ago. And
I thought it was like 10 days ago. We were like, we were like, oh, we should probably talk about it.
But so much has changed from now.
Yeah.
From then until now. And so I thought we got to get on this. We got to do this now because, just today, all the schools closed.
Yeah.
And all I see is on my Facebook feeds, and I'm getting emails and the patients that do come into work, just a lot of panic, a lot of fear.
Yeah.
And so it's important that we get good information out there.
Exactly.
And also that we try to calm everybody down. It's important there's a healthy amount of fear, and then there's an unhealthy amount of fear. And what I'm going to try to do is get you to a healthy amount of fear, not to where we're causing social panic.
That is correct. I think, unfortunately, I know the media plays a big part in panic, and unfortunately, social media is playing a huge part right now. There's so much information being provided quickly, daily, every second. So I think that's been a huge problem. So people feel that they're getting the most up-to-date information, but it could have been something that it could have been a week ago, 2 weeks ago, a month ago, and I think people don't really know. Yeah. And today is March 13th, and we are speaking as of this moment, as of what is known as right now.
And I'm so glad you said that, and that's one of the things I wanted to make clear is today's March 13th. We are talking about what we know today.
That is correct.
And what we knew 2 days ago is different, or what was happening 2 days ago was different. This should be an important podcast to try to understand overall what's going on, but not to know what's happening immediately right now as far as numbers and legislation and things like that.
Mm-hmm. So I'll ask you some of the basic stuff that I think a lot of people just don't know. Coronavirus, why COVID? Is that just like the specific name that came for it, or where's the name come from?
So, and funny, if you go back to the podcast that you and I did in December,
that is correct.
Before the coronavirus was a big deal, I actually mentioned the name because the virus is it's a known virus to cause cold symptoms. It's been around forever.
Okay. So it has been around.
But this one is a new mutation.
Okay.
The COVID stands for coronavirus. Excuse me. Coronavirus disease. The 19, you'll often see viruses with the number after them. That's the year they were discovered.
Okay.
So this was a virus new mutation that was discovered in 2019.
Okay.
In China.
Okay. So I believe from Wuhan, China.
Yes.
That's where it came from. Primarily from the wet market. So there is a wet market, and if you don't know what a wet market is, where they have live animals in a specific area. And essentially, depending on what they look like, they're stacked on top of each other. You can have chickens in a cage. You can have raccoons in a bottom cage, and they're literally stacked. And then you go in, you pick what you like. They're killed or whatever they do right then and there, right in front of you, and they're giving you fresh meat. That is ideally what they do at those wet markets. Correct?
Right.
Well,
yeah. I'm not a wet market expert, but yeah.
But give or take.
The point is there was a virus that animals can have coronaviruses too, and sometimes they mutate enough to where they can affect humans. And so this is one such case. The avian flu was one such case. SARS, MERS. Those are all examples. And this one mutated from a weird animal. I always forget the name of it.
Pangolin.
We just looked it up and I already forgot.
Yeah.
It looks like a mix between an anteater and an armadillo.
Yeah.
It's the one of the problems too is it's shipped worldwide because it's believed it's kind of an alternative. It's used in alternative medicine. The scales are believed to have some sort of health value.
Yeah. What they're saying is that it was a mix between a bat and a pangolin is what that armadillo lookalike thing is, which a pangolin is actually on the extinction list. So random, one of those random facts I know. So, but yeah, so it's transferred to humans. And now, what I don't understand is why is this thing spreading like wildfire? I mean, it literally is. 24 hours ago, 48 hours ago, the sense of despair and fear, unfortunately, is everywhere now. So
the problem, the main problem with this virus was how quickly it spreads. So it's not the actual disease it causes, but how quickly it spreads. Now, with any disease, you can have complications, and then a certain percentage of people can get these complications. In China, the complications were in about 20% of patients, with the mortality rate being somewhere, and it varies, but it's varying by country. So we actually don't know what the final numbers of this virus is going to be, but we can just go based off what's happening. And it was somewhere in the 2% mortality.
Okay.
And it was seen and it has been seen in mostly the elderly.
Okay.
So the reason not to panic is for most of us, we will get what is known as a mild case of cough, fever, fatigue. Basically, it looks kind of like a cold or a flu, but pretty much like a cold. I know people are putting up charts. Oh, with the coronavirus, with COVID, you get this. With flu, you get this. I don't like those charts because they're not. You can have 4% of people had runny nose and congestion, and those charts say you can't get that.
Okay.
So when somebody gets that, they're going to say, "Oh, I don't have COVID-19." Same thing happens with a lot of those charts say with colds, you don't get fever.
Yeah.
That's couldn't be further from the truth.
Okay.
So please stop publicizing those charts. They're not helpful, especially if you think, oh, I don't have, or I have this symptom, that means I don't have COVID-19.
Okay.
The important thing is to look for, once it starts, this virus can come down into the lungs and cause a viral pneumonia. A viral pneumonia is worse than a bacterial pneumonia. Bacterial pneumonia usually attacks one section of lung. Mm-hmm. The virus can be the entire lung.
Okay.
So and then the other problem, and the biggest deal with and why it's so easy to spread is we don't have a way to stop the spread medically. In other words, there's no vaccine for it, like there is for the flu. There's no medicine that'll take away the virus, like there is for the flu, or
anything else. Yeah.
Right. Or like antibiotics for bacterial infections. So it's basically supportive care, and especially in seniors, hoping that it doesn't complicate itself.
Okay.
And the complications are it going down into the lungs, the viral pneumonia, and that can worsen to where it causes such a strong inflammatory response that you start getting damage to lung tissue, which could be permanent. Again, I don't want to get, I want to be honest with you guys and tell you guys the complications, but I don't want everybody to focus on the complications because, again, most of us will just feel cold symptoms.
Okay.
But why should we be alarmed? It's not because of we might get this disease, but it's who can get this disease, and we need to protect those people. And the amount of the way they can actually overload our medical system.
Okay.
And that's what you're seeing in Italy.
Okay.
Is they're having to decide they don't have enough ventilators. Ventilators are machines that breathe for you once you can't breathe yourself because of the damage to the lungs. So they have to decide, okay, I'm going to put you on a vent. No, not you, even though you need it, so you might die.
Yeah.
So that's the thing we got to be scared for our fellow humans that are susceptible to this.
Okay.
That's the whole point why we should all, and I know last time we didn't talk about vaccinations, but I'm going to talk about it this time. And that's the whole point is, yeah, you don't fall in a high risk group for flu, but there are people, loved ones around you that do.
Yeah.
It's not about you. We got to stop making it just about us.
Okay.
We got to make it about everybody around us.
Yeah.
Well,
let me ask you this.
Yes.
I'm just curious. So this COVID-19, so the coronavirus, again, we had talked about it previously in our last podcast.
Yeah.
So were there any cases before of that? I mean, obviously there was, because that's why I got a name, but
I don't know. I know it was discovered in 2019. I don't know what dates they discovered it on. I wasn't referring to COVID-19 when we talked about it. I was talking about the pre-mutation coronavirus. And there have been the SARS outbreak, the avian flu that we heard about several years ago. That was another type of coronavirus that also mutated. I was just talking about your regular run-of-the-mill coronavirus that causes a cold.
Okay.
So that's I randomly brought it up because I just remember from medical school.
Yeah.
Adenovirus causes colds. There are 200 to 300 viruses that can give us colds.
Okay.
And coronavirus is one of them.
Okay.
The COVID is a mutation of the run-of-the-mill one.
Okay. Yeah. So then I think the concern now, I mean, everyone I think has seen a ton of information and they've heard a ton. So I think you said off the air, you had mentioned that right now it's a little tough to test, right? You guys don't have enough, hospitals do not have the correct testing or do not have testing.
So we aren't unable right now. If you walked into my office right now, I can test you for the flu. I could test you for RSV. I could test you for strep, and within 5 minutes, I would have an answer.
Okay.
We hospitals, clinics, they do not have that. It's coming.
Okay.
But we haven't had that. So really, we don't know how many people walking around us have COVID-19.
Okay.
So we don't have accurate numbers yet.
Okay.
But so what we do is base everything on what's happened around the world.
Okay.
And we know how fast and quickly it can spread. The way they found it, and we've heard of Washington.
Yeah.
Washington's been in the news because they found coronavirus amongst people of Seattle. The way they found it was very random. It was a doctor who she was doing a study, and she was doing a study on respiratory illnesses. Mm-hmm. And so she would go around the community and take samples of people, and they were testing for a bunch of different viruses.
Yeah.
And then one day they get one that's positive for coronavirus, and they're like, "Oh my God, it's here!"
Okay.
And so there's a really great podcast that you guys should listen to, and I can't remember the name of it. I'll remember later. But anyways, what happened was because she was just doing a study, they couldn't publicly report this. And so they were trying to get permission. In the end, they were faced with an ethical dilemma. By laws of the health bodies around us, we cannot report this. But man, we need to stop the spread of this because we've seen what can happen in other countries. And in the end, they chose the route B, and it's like, we need to inform the people. And so that's, once we have the testing, and it is coming.
Okay.
Just today I was talking with, it's hard to keep up with this stuff. So sometimes we just rely on, I have to see patients all day. I can't be on the web looking up what's the latest on coronavirus. But two of the doctors were saying that and you're a big money guy, that the Dow went up today like 1,000 points or something like that. The reason why is because the kits are coming next week, something in the millions. And so I haven't looked at the report. I don't know how that will work, but that's huge. That's huge.
Yeah,
that's huge. That's going to help us a lot.
Okay.
As far as diagnosing.
Okay. So just to kind of give some comfort to some people. So there doesn't seem like there's a lot of cases or any cases on kids, right?
Not that there isn't.
Okay.
It's that they're not getting the complications.
Okay.
They're only getting mild illness.
Okay.
By the way, mild illness is a term we're using based on a Chinese study. Mild illness means you didn't require oxygen.
Okay.
So that means you can have pneumonia. You probably were kind of sick, but you didn't need to be hospitalized because your oxygen was normal.
Okay.
So kids have been found to be very low risk as far as the complications.
Okay.
It's really, and it's just the way the virus acts. They don't know why. Sometimes it has to do with the way a mature immune system responds to a virus. Sometimes it has to do with decreased immunity. We do know that the at-risk senior population usually have what we call comorbidities. In other words, they have diseases that make their immune systems weaker. Number one being cardiovascular.
Okay.
Diabetes is another one. And that's what we know based on the Chinese population.
Okay.
We still don't know. We have different comorbidities. We have different diseases here, especially obesity here in the States. Is obesity going to be a risk factor?
Yeah, we don't.
We're finding everything out as we go. But we do know smoking. A lot of smoking in China was another risk factor.
You have like smog and all that other stuff though too. So that damages. So let me ask you this. So right now, what would you recommend? I mean, what do you recommend to the people that are listening to this, locally and nationwide?
So here's what I don't recommend. Do not create your own mental health crisis because of this. We got to treat this commonly. There's a great book called House of God about this resident in the 70s. And one of the things I always remember from that book was whenever there's an emergency, like somebody is coding, like they're dying in front of you, the first pulse you should check is your own. You need to breathe, calm down. None of us are going to work well under stress.
Yeah.
So everybody, I know it's hard. We're worried for our families, but we need to try to take this in stride and do whatever we can to help our own mental health. The other thing that would really hurt us that we shouldn't do is have this cavalier cowboy attitude that this is all the media hyping it up. Okay. That's a bad attitude because the way to prevent this from getting really bad is what they are recommending right now, which is washing your hands. I know we've all heard that.
Yeah.
Washing your hands, not touching your face, because all these surfaces that we touch, other people have touched them. The virus could be living there. We grab a doorknob, we bring it to our face, and all of a sudden we have the virus. And then social distancing. And this is the biggest one. This is the one that really gets people.
Yeah.
I've seen so many people angry about all the sports that have been stopped. I mean, man, the Lakers had it this year. They had it. But the social distancing is huge. There's something called the R naught, which is how contagious is the virus? How many, if I have it, how many people will I infect?
Yeah.
And we don't know the exact number. Again, we won't know the exact number, the exact R naught until this pandemic is over. But what we do know is that it spreads like wildfire. So one person can infect many.
Okay.
And so how do we stop the spread? We we avoid public places. We stay home.
Yeah.
We go out when we need to. Obviously, if you have to work, you have to work.
Yeah.
If you have to go buy food to cook, yeah, obviously you have to do that.
Yeah.
Again, don't go nuts to all the toilet paper things that we're hearing about. In order for all of us to be better off, our neighbors have to be doing well too.
Yeah, yeah. So everybody together.
If you're buying up all the toilet paper or all the soap and the cleansers and all that, that means your neighbor might not be clean. Yeah. We need everybody. That's herd immunity.
Yeah.
So that's really hard to hear. We love our freedoms.
Yeah.
Somebody said it. The pursuit of life. What is it? Life, happiness, and whatever.
I can't think of it right now. Yeah.
You can't have these freedoms without the life part.
Yeah. Yeah. Sure.
And that's it's we're gonna make it. We're gonna make it through this. We're gonna guys. We're gonna be all right. But we do have to listen to what the professionals are telling us. I believe you me. I want to watch all these. Life without sports is hard.
Yeah.
But not going out. I love being out.
Yeah. But a week or two of not doing anything should be okay.
You say a week or two. I hope it's just that.
Well, what will
and everything that we've seen, I think it'll be longer. Again, today's March 13th. I don't know in 2 weeks. Like I know LAUSD, the LA Unified School District, no school for 2 weeks. To be honest, I'd be surprised if it were just 2 weeks. I don't want to give a number because we don't know. We don't know. But be mentally prepared for that. If they say a month, if they say 2, we can be indoors for 2-3 months. We'll be all right. We're gonna make it.
Yeah, Netflix time.
Yeah, Netflix. So. Chill.
Anyway, all right, guys. So thank you guys for listening. Thank you, Doc, for the time. I appreciate you coming in like so quickly and coming from the front lines, which we as regular people, we appreciate that. So thank you for the feedback, guys. If you have questions, feel free to ask. We can probably post them on our Instagram. So most likely this video is going to go up soon. As soon as it goes up, feel free to comment on the bottom, hit a like, share, shoot a comment. Obviously the doc is on IG as well. We'll tag him if there is another question and he can go ahead and respond to that. So once again, Doc, I appreciate the time.
All right. My pleasure. Thank you for having me.